Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I'm your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal. And joining me through Discord, as usual, it is the man, the myth, legend, my partner in crime. It is Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
It's called partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening?
Hell
Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Also joining us, it is our producer. It is Edgelord Big News Brian.
なんというビッグニュース
What's up, nerds?
We're back. We're back like we never left. We're here for a new episode of talking about manga for a while. And let's not waste any time. Let's get into plugs real fast. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JDCole_37. That's on Instagram. And at New Jump City Josh. That's on X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow me on both.
Yeah. Brian?
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Oh, yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Check us out on that. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we'll do it. We'll talk about it. We'll read your questions. We'll answer them. We answered some questions today, actually. So, yeah, I hope you guys will check that out. You could subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. YouTube as well. I am putting up the backlog of the episodes I have not been uploading. So there's going to be an episode of the show every day for until we catch up. So yeah, keep up on that. I think that's it for plugs. Actually, I think we're good. I think we can do the thing. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1113, Stalemate. We're opening with these color pages. I do want to talk about this color page for a second because, pro tip, if you guys want to see something cool and interesting, if you're into art at all, One Piece's like official manga Instagram, whenever Oda does color pages, they do like a speed time lapse of Oda's process drawing them. This one was really interesting because every chess piece that's placed on this cover is apparently like Oda worked out, like chess wise, how exactly everybody would be where they're currently standing at. Like the moves they would have to make to be on their exact spot. And I thought
that's pretty cool.
I thought that was like an interesting attention to detail. So I would, if you guys want to see that, see what I mean by that, check out like that Instagram. It's really cool to see it, and it's also always cool to see Oda's drawing process in general. So, but this is cool color page art. In any case, on to the chapter itself. Last we left off with One Piece. We had there's like a ton of shit happening. All hell is breaking loose on Egghead. The elders are all there, fighting the Straw Hats and the giant pirates, as well as trying to intercept Vegapunk's message to the world, where he will be revealing some deep, dark history secrets that the government has been trying to bury forever now. And we finally kind of arrived at that point. In the last chapter, it was 1 minute till like the message would be relayed. And the chapter ended with one of the elders, the big Birdman. I should have a list of these guys' names. Brian, could you have that up just in general, the names of the elders?
Is his name Mars?
Yeah, Mars. I'm just gonna probably call them by the planets they're named after because that's what I remember most. But Mars has seemingly found a transponder snail that he imagines is supposed to be like actually broadcasting the message. But amongst that, he also finds something else. He finds the top half of Vegapunk's brain that is at the tippy top, I guess, of Punk Records. And he's like, whoa, so this is you, Vegapunk? And apparently his brain survives past his death, apparently. Which is kind of interesting. I guess this is why the Stellars...
The other Stellars are still alive, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. This is probably why the other Stellars don't die. I guess you have to destroy this to truly kill Vegapunk. And I don't think the government's going to do that because, they want York alive, and this brain is the only way they can continue to build the Mother Flame. So there's that. We get a couple shots from around the world of people about to be tuning in to the message. We get a cameo from Mary and Kaya and the Usopp pirates all hanging out, listening to the message. They don't have a video transponder snail, so they're just listening in on the audio. We have the Navy listening in. We see Crocus at the Twin Capes with Laboon listening in. We get a little snapshot of Baltimore where Vegapunk grew up, and we see the place, the Birdie Kingdom, where Chopper was for his time skip training area, full of lead, etc., etc. Everybody's tuning in. Mars tried to destroy the transponder snail, but realizes that it's just a decoy. It's just a regular old transponder snail. So he turns into a giant pissed off bird and flies away. He's like, fuck, I got tricked. So
Curse you, Vegapunk.
Curse you, Vegapunk. And Vegapunk's about to get started. The 5 elders telepathically confer with each other, just like, shit, I couldn't stop it, guys. We can't prevent the transmission. They have a robust security system, and York can't figure out what the problem is. So all the elders are like, fuck. So he refuses to go out like Clover, eh? Does he mean to avenge Ohara's loss? And Sanji's on his way. Sanji's on his way to where Bonnie and Frankie are, and he's carrying Vegapunk still. He's like, I could hear it. The sound of Bonnie's voice. Begging for my help. And then he comes in. Sanji arrives to where Nustro is, and he fucking kicks the shit out of Nustro, so much so that his fucking face gets set on fire. But Nustro immediately turns his head into his weird horse monster thing and bites Sanji in his midsection, which is pretty wild. But the Oimo and I think Kashi come in and try to wrestle Nustro to the ground. Bonnie turns into a giant with her giant-like future powers and joins the fight as well. So, and all the while, Vegapunk is talking about how he has committed 2 sins, and therefore, whether I am arrested or executed, I shall program this message to be broadcast when my heart stops beating. So everybody's like, oh shit, is he dead? We see, Duval's listening in at Sabaody. We see Caesar and Judge reacting to it. Big News Morgans is like, no!
なんというビッグニュース
Please don't give away the entire story. And Vegapunk mentions that he wants to make one thing very clear. Whoever may have rendered their judgment unto him, he is not trying to convince you that their intent is evil, and he will be avoiding applying the labels of good and evil because he understands too little about him to begin with. And I don't know who he's necessarily referring to. My guess is Emu, but I don't know. In any case, Saturn starts to like crash out. He's like, no, move. I can't deal with you guys right now. And Robin, he hears his voice and he remembers that this is the voice that was on the transponder snail talking to Professor Clover before Ohara was destroyed. He mentions like Nico Robin, the man Akainu let slip through his fingers. The man is soft. This is one thing that confused me for a second because Akainu was also there that day and he just missed Robin. But it was really Aokiji that let her go. So I don't know if this is like a misprint or whatever, but anyhow. But Akainu was there, so that's why it gave me pause. But that's neither here nor there. Nami hears this, and she's like, oh shit, no way. Protect Robin! And immediately Usopp, Chopper, Brook, and Nami all put their efforts to fighting off Jay Garcia and protecting Robin, because she's obviously his biggest target, I imagine, in the Straw Hats. And he's like, and all the while, Vegapunk is still going, what I'm about to tell you is preposterous. You may even burst into laughter. However, you all have the right to know. And, it's time's running out. Everybody's just freaking out at this point. uh, Mars is told not to destroy the power plant in general because they can't afford to lose all the soldiers and ships they have already on Egghead, and plus no one will be able to build the Mother Flame if he destroys all of Egghead. So, but unfortunately, they could not stop Vegapunk from delivering this devastating news that apparently the world as they know it will sink into the sea. And that's where the chapter ends. Wowee. And we will not be seeing One Piece for 2 weeks because Jump is off next week. Unfortunately, I knew they would do some shit. But yeah, that is One Piece. Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1113?
This was absolutely the RGC for me.
Yeah. Honestly,
Anybody
same.
else?
Not for me.
So I'll let off a regular.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Okay. Wow. That's how I felt about this chapter initially. Just wow. But there are a few things I want to point out. So, if you go over to page 6 on the bottom, I'm sorry. Yeah, bottom right panel when they're on the people from Baltimore, where it's snowy and shit at. It's like yeah, he says that's right, he's the pride of Baltimore, talking about Vegapunk. But then he says oh, the Nightmare of Baltimore, no, that was Frankie. And then he says he's a ship now. I thought that was actually really funny because of, I guess, Oda saying that in the future, Frankie is going to eventually just become an entire ship. That's how he's going to live the rest of his life.
It's actually like Frankie's wanted poster is currently the Sunny. It's just a picture of the Sunny.
For real?
Yeah.
How? Why?
I don't know. Someone fucked up and they, for whatever reason, Frankie's bounty poster is the Sunny.
That's really funny. Well,
But it could also be a reference to that, to be honest.
Yeah. I think I'm glad that the elders have to keep his brain alive for the Mother Flame. But they could have just ended everything by, well, they probably couldn't have ended the recording even if he destroyed the brain. Probably wouldn't have made a difference. So either way, I'm glad that wasn't destroyed. And Nostro got kicked in his fucking face, man. That fight is crazy. You know what I mean? That's Jupiter, right? I think that was his name.
No, he's Venus. He's Nostro.
V Nostro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see. So, yeah, Venus. I think he's got a lot to deal with the two giants and Sanji alone. But this fight, with where they're all trying to protect Robin from the spider guy, that's an interesting fight, man. Because who's the powerhouse out of that team right there?
Yeah.
Brook.
Chopper.
Yes.
Brook might be the strongest in that current area right now. But that's also the area where Jinbei and Zoro will be returning. So soon they'll have Jinbei and Zoro as backup.
That's a fact. I was gonna say this though, in case they don't come in time, I think we might get to see Usopp activate some of his hockey, man.
That would be super
Maybe
cool.
He might find a way to see there's like a weak point because there's a reason they just haven't been taking damage. Maybe there's just some type of like, place that's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll figure it out. See? Yeah, the world as we know it will sink into the sea. That was not something I was expecting at all. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to go off of. I do want to
There
bring
has been
something.
a bit of foreshadowing for it, though.
Yeah, I think I'm onto the same thing that you saw, Brian. I don't know if you know this, Josh, and this isn't necessarily our thoughts. This is something this is something I found the One Piece community talking about. Is if you look at the people who for sure know what the One Piece is and their situations, say like the remaining members of Roger's crew that we know, Crocus lives inside a laboon. Rayleigh lives on an archipelago, and on top of that, he lives directly above Fishman Island. He has the ability to coach ships. Joy Boy left behind Zonatia, the giant elephant that is way above sea level for people, and that can have an ecosystem where people could live off of.
Joy Boy turned Zoe into an ecosystem?
It's not that he turned him into it, it's that like he seems to be very close to Zoe and he left behind Zoe. And the idea is that everybody who knows about the One Piece knows that the world will eventually sink. And that's why they're casually in situations that are beneficial to them in that problem where Rayleigh where Crocus can survive within Laboon because he's like formatted Laboon so that he could live there permanently for the most part.
And the Fishman
so
arc,
who are the people that know? Is Crocus, Rayleigh,
Vegapunk?
what?
Well, Vegapunk now, but he hasn't taken any precautions because he seems to have just realized this.
Those are the only people from Gold Roger's crew left? Just those two?
Someone also pointed out that Shanks has a crew from what we know of an entirely devil fruitless crew. Specifically so that they wouldn't sink should the worst case happen.
But Shanks wasn't there at Raftel, so
Yeah. I mean, I don't, that's just like somebody's guess.
Yeah, and it's pretty flimsy too because the moment we really get introduced to the rest of this crew, we'll probably learn that some of them have abilities anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's like just oh, my bad. That's just a thought. I'm trying to pull up the list of things, but yeah, there was like a decent amount of foreshadowing apparently, like that people.
The Fishman arc too, the arc in Fishman Island.
The what?
The arc in Fishman Island.
Oh yeah, Noah's Ark. Right. Oh yeah. Noah's Ark.
Where they said this will fill a specific purpose. Don't break it.
Yeah. Noah's Ark, I imagine Joy Boy had built probably or helped build probably to save everyone from drowning. That I didn't even realize.
It's really, really big, right? It's like as big as an island.
Yeah, it's massive. Luffy couldn't Luffy was hitting with all he got and he couldn't break it. He really couldn't put a dent in it too much.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get repaired by
them, whoever they are.
The world government being on the red line, which is way above sea level.
Oh yeah, that's also
Marijois being on the red line. Hey, I mean that could be the reason they took.
Again, Laboon, you could say that he's on the red line, isn't he? Technically, Crocus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, Crocus probably wouldn't be allowed to live on the red line because he is unknown. He's a known member of the.
He's on the red line where those falls is at, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, but the idea is that he'd live in Laboon. Like he's made like Laboon's stomach habitable for himself.
Oh, that's lit. Damn, I wonder if there's gonna be a way to stop it.
So yeah, all these people are just doomsday preppers, and they know for sure that the world's gonna end. So they put themselves in situations where they would survive if this went down.
Well, that's not what the One Piece is.
No, but you know what's funny is that another thing is that could be why like the Lunarians were destroyed. Like the world government probably colonized the Red Line from the Lunarians.
Yeah. for that because of what they learned.
I also want to put out a pretty crazy theory out there. I think I may have brought this before, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Sky Island dwellers are distant descendants of Lunarians. Because they also have the wings. They're much smaller. So, you know, they have that kind of genealogy. Everybody who's native to the Sky Islands has wings. They're white instead of black wings. They don't have the flames, but they do have them. And I imagine that way back in history, Lunarians made their way to the Sky Islands and settled there.
Or at least made their way to Jaya.
Well, no, the Skypians were there
They got
before
along.
Jaya. Before Jaya got there. The what were they called? What was that tribe called? The giant tribe, they got wings through, like, you know, I guess living up there as well and probably intermingling with Skypians.
Are you talking about
I'm forgetting their names. I don't know why, but the people
the one
that
that what's his name? Uruj?
Wiper and Uruj would probably also be a descendant of Lunarians because he has really big wings as well. And he is a Sky Island. He's from the Sky Islands.
Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
He's epic, man.
Uruj. I think he's up
I
there
just
right
need
now.
Oda to answer questions faster. Thoughts?
Yeah, I need Jump to not be taking a break next week because, of course, Oda probably knew that this cliffhanger in particular would land on a 2-week break.
He always plans it this way.
I feel like he always does. Whenever he has to take a break or when Jump is on break, he leaves it at the fucking worst cliffhangers ever.
Same thing with JJK.
Yeah. I guess they know when their breaks are coming, so they can plan accordingly. But damn, that is how you stay number one for as long as you do.
This is kind of bled into all of our thoughts, but this was a crazy chapter. So
I
it's
think
kinda
next chapter is going to end
protocol.
up being RGC for me, but I just want to know what's going on. Just sick of the suspense. Just tell me. We've been waiting for too long.
Just tell me.
Tell me.
Do you have any more thoughts, Josh? Or
No, I don't. I don't know if you guys have
yeah,
any
we
more.
discussed a whole lot, so I don't have many more thoughts after that. But I do want to say, the protecting of Robin is so cool and actually, honestly, so touching considering, you know, Robin's whole like backstory.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, it's just like a continuation of just how much of a family Robin has now, and that no matter what, like there's people here who are here for her and will protect her, and, you know, we'll go to the ends of the earth and fight literally the most dangerous people on the planet for her. And I think it's just like kind of without like emphasizing the moment, they still just like managed to keep that little touching element of the Straw Hats down.
Family.
How they like unquestionably, even Usopp, when Nami yelled protect Robin, he was already guns up shooting. So I thought that was really cool. Honestly, I hope we get a little bit of a fight with these characters fighting Jay Garcia before Zoro and Jinbei show up and save the day, because that would be super cool. Like a tag team effort towards against Saturn before like the actual like strong people come in and save them. That would be really cute.
Yeah.
A little bit of teamwork.
Dude, Monster Chopper versus Jay Garcia, going all out. That would be sick.
Oh God, I hope so.
But
None of that defense bullshit. Just turn into a monster and go crazy.
yeah, it was cool to see.
Remind
It was cool to see like Defense Point come on.
it was cool.
I'm happy. One Piece is great. One Piece is good. So good. Brian, what did you think?
I feel like we kind of covered everything I was going to talk about.
Yeah. I want Sanji to keep kicking the shit out of Noostra.
Me too. Because Lord knows that when Mars pulls up, it's over for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hits you with a bird blast.
Yeah.
Void blast.
Void
That
blast.
shit is super effective.
For real. All right. Well, if that's all our thoughts, shall we move onward?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. 1 second. Let me fix something. Whoa. Anyway, here we go. Next chapter.
ブラッディ・クロス
My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 421. We are here. Last we left off, Midoriya was looking in dire straits. He was not. He had lost his arms and lost all hope, and All for One is back, and it was not looking good. But Aizawa came along with an assortment of other heroes, and pretty much all of the side characters of the series, the Class 1A for the most part, and others have shown up. Ares, they healed Deku's arms using Ares' horn, so Deku has his arms back. And yeah, we're starting off with the current chapter where everybody's here, everybody's battle damaged from their fights, and they've all come to like a quadruple thousandth team, All for One. So yeah, everybody gets a cool line saying that, like, yeah, we're here to do our part and be heroes, and we get a really cool 2-page spread of all the characters coming through the portal, Avengers Endgame style, saying we are here. And
This also kind of reminds me of the Fourth Great Ninja War too, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Since I've been rereading it.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, All for One is looking at, you know, the army of heroes that are coming at him, and he's like, my obsession gone. Only a gaping hole of loss remained. No chasm no attack could strike. You're all weak, bitches. You're not all might. Bleh. Nah, I'm the shit now, and you're all weak. And he says, tragedy, Izuku Midoriya, I now realize that tragedy engenders true strength. Don't you agree? And Sero's like, nah, I don't know. He's like, unlike some of you, my life wasn't filled with wild highs or tragic lows, but all I had to do was keep pushing forward, not wanting to fall behind on the next practical exam or whatever. And you know, it's been some tough times for him. The guy used to look all zoinked out and unhappy, but you know, and Zero comes in, tries to do a tape attack, but at the same time, we also have the Todorokis coming in, Endeavor and Shoto coming through with a simultaneous flash fire fist. You know, the battle has ended up. President Mike pulls up and he's like, today marks a turning point, folks. One last job. And everybody charges after All for One. And All for One's like, beholding a legion of wounded, desperate heroes, I feel nothing, only forlorn. Because y'all weak. And he's about to fire off some weird Amalgus quirk blast thing. But 13 is also there, and they use their like cool black hole quirk to like prevent him from using his attack. Gang Orca shows up with, I think that's the fingers from the meatball guy from Shiketsu. And everybody's just like attacking him all at once. Everybody's realizing that, hey, it takes a whole team, it takes a dozen of us to stop one attack. So just keep fighting back as a cohesive unit. Deku tries to stand up, but his body is just like so worn out by now. You know, he's not doing so great. And Aizawa's just like, listen, man, chill out for a second. You just came back. You just made it out a few minutes ago, and you lost both your arms and shit. You must be tired. Deku also reveals to him that he gave up One for All, but he still has the same embers within him, so he still has residual power from All for One, just like All Might did when he gave his powers to Deku. So, you know, as long as he has that ember, All for One is still has to deal with him. and Aizawa gives him a shirt. Deku, being a big All Might fan, knows exactly what shirt it is. The men's no brand Series 5 one size t-shirt. Then Aoyama comes in and he says, "Let us run. We have need of your strength, just as we need yours. You need ours." So, Deku gets on his feet, and the world is starting to cheer on Deku, as the chapter ends in a full splash page of Deku running towards battle with full Cowling activated in his All Might t-shirt. And that was pretty much it for My Hero Academia, chapter 421. Josh, what did you think?
I didn't realize that the previous chapter was 420. Pretty late. Well, I ain't gonna hold you. All for One looked really fucking sick. This chapter, like with these dead tentacle things and these weird energy blasts. But the rest of the squad is the rest of the heroes are actually distracting him enough and diverting his attacks. I'm proud of them in a way. I mean, about time they're doing something really, really helpful. That's not true. They've all been going through it. I don't really have any hate. This is a cool chapter, man. I think Izuku is about to hit this nigga with a Detroit smash. Maybe he'll hit him with like a he'll use a new state. They already used United States of Smash, right? Or is that All Might's move, like to himself?
Yeah, that's kind of like an All Might move, but I think Deku in theory could also do it.
Yo, if he pulls out United States Smash, that might save this entire series. It might make it number one again. It might make it better than One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen and World Trigger and everything.
True.
So we'll see. Crazy how you could save the series just like that.
Just
and,
one move.
Yeah. All right. All sarcasm aside, though, I'm not super impressed by the rest of these characters coming out. I'm just happy to see them. I'm happy that they're going to be trying. I think Sero, perhaps you guys have a rebuttal to this, but I feel like for what he was trying to get across, that no, tragedy is not the way to create, proper society. Like he said in the most roundabout, like not having a point at all. All right, let me really inspect this. So he says at first I thought he's gonna talk about himself, like in school, right? But I guess he starts talking about Midoriya when he says it's been some tough times for him. The guy used to look all zonked out and empty. Oh no, they're talking about.
I think he's talking about I think he's talking about Shoto actually.
Todoroki. Yeah. Okay. And okay, you know what? Now it makes a lot more sense. Because I really did not know where Sero was going with that. So he's like, unlike alright, sorry, he says my life wasn't full of highs and lows, right? Etc. I had a pretty basic life.
Can I
Anyone be better?
positive?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what he's trying to say is that like All for One says that like the only way to get strong is to have a massive tragedy in your life. And Sero's like, I feel like that's not true and it's not worth it because, Todoroki's really strong, but, pretty sure that it would have been better for him to not have to go through all that tragedy and not have that strength rather than to go through that tragedy just to have strength, in a sense. It's a weirdly worded way of saying it, but he is saying that like, well, it shouldn't be necessary. That's like, it's probably not true because Sero is like in his own right, not weak, and he's like, he's never had a tragedy in his life. And also Todoroki, even though he's powerful, the reason for that strength is not necessarily because he's had a miserable life. And it honestly would have been better for him to not live that life.
Yeah, you could. I think I could take the understanding a little further because he says the guy used to look all zonked out and empty, and that was Todoroki post tragedy already. And it wasn't until he started to begin to heal and heal from those tragedies did he become stronger in just a better more confident person and stronger in his abilities. So yeah, it makes sense. He's saying, look, like it's so it was a weird way to say that actually, like, uh, on the contrary,
Hmm.
I know someone that got way stronger when the trauma stopped getting so bad in his life. So whatever, I still think it was worded really weird.
I will
don't
say
maybe it was a
this
translation thing.
because this is kind of like a thing with My Hero Academia as well. I notice he words things really weird.
Maybe it's like a translation thing.
I don't know about that because I think what he is trying to do is he's trying to like capture how teenagers would talk or how teenagers would explain some stuff. And I imagine that like, I think I see where he's coming from, where like kids would probably not have as robust a vocabulary, especially in the situations that they're in this world, to word things eloquently or, even somewhat clearly. But this is like a weird thing where even some jokes of My Hero Academia are like oddly worded this way. And it happens like kind of too many things that I've noticed in my last read through to, be constant translation issues. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm gonna chalk it up to like a translation thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's probably a translation thing. However, it was, as you say, Chris, there is a consistent issue with this, and it feels like what could have been a really cool, sweet, short and sweet moment for Sero kind of just annoyed the shit out of me. He probably more than it should have, but that is what happened. I mean, and there's also the fact that I didn't curse over it. I didn't when I didn't understand it. I just already understood before he even finished what he was saying. I understood the point, which was no, you're fucking psycho. People don't have to go through tragedy to be. They don't even have to be stronger. You just want to create a world where everyone needs to be strong to survive. You know what I mean? So I already get that. So
Yeah,
I guess
it's not like a series breaking problem in my mind, and I don't really
no, not at all.
I don't ever really take points away from My Hero Academia for that. It is something I definitely notice, but every now and then there'll be just these weird, like weirdly worded phrases that he uses, or that like I know what you're saying, but I feel like it could have been said better, and I don't know how much it really it chalks up to translation, but I don't know. Maybe if I look into like some scanlations and see if there's anything, if they interpret it a little clearer, just so I know. But I feel like this is a consistent problem with My Hero Academia specifically. I don't think I find many series that have this problem.
I wish they saved that. I think I think uh I think Horikoshi thought about that like this moment like a while ago
Mm-hmm.
and was so thirsty to have them warp in and like it was kind of like disappointing for that cool flash double flash fist introduction into doing nothing
Mm-hmm.
but slightly perturbing all for one for a few moments. You know what I mean? I guess
Mm-hmm.
they started the salvo, but it didn't do shit. And I would have liked that to maybe be the last attack that really like kind of threw him off to create an opening for Midoriya or something. But whatever. Not. I think I'm nitpicking there, but yeah, I'm actually genuinely interested in how Midoriya is going to fight against All for One at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I would not mind if he just beats him down with strategy and fists. Brian, what are your thoughts?
I think The only thoughts I really have is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be like a mirrored situation to what All Might saw in Midoriya to like give him all for one or one for all in the first place. Which is, even though he's not as powerful, he's just going to still run into danger.
Yeah, he's
I
doing
think
it right
that's
now.
what's
That's
gonna
what.
be happening.
That's kind of how the chapter ended.
Yeah, I think it's going to be him running like literally through the battlefield. Everybody's kind of covering Midoriya as he's running to Shigaraki, and then the chapter's going to end with him giving him like a big fucking punch or some shit like that to like get back into that spirit realm or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's where the real fight for Midoriya is. He's done everything that he can in the physical realm. He's fighting a metaphorical battle with Shigaraki right now. So I can't imagine that the fight is going to end with Midoriya being like scrapping with him on the outside. You know what I mean? I feel like that's everybody else's role now. Midoriya is trying to appeal to the human in Shigaraki and trying to save him as a hero. Because if he just beats him on the outside, then that kind of goes against the message of this story so far, which is punching and just defeating the villain without like addressing the problem isn't going to solve the issue. So yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening next chapter. And I kind of like that everybody is here. You know, it was pretty cool to see everybody show up and kind of start supporting Deku and being heroes in their own right. Pretty sweet. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm interested to see how, because I know next chapter is going to be drawn so fucking beautifully. I can already tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm pretty mostly high on this chapter. My issues with it are mostly technical. Kind of like the writing of the dialogue and some compositional problems. Mostly because like this chapter is kind of short for a traditional Jump chapter, so I feel like he's stuffing a lot of information into like pages. But that's like kind of nitpicky type of things. I'm willing to admit. It didn't really get in the way. I really like this chapter actually. It may be like, you know, my second or third favorite if it wasn't for One Piece of anything. Because I really did like the ideas, even though I have my issues with All For One himself returning as like the frontline villain here and absolving Shigaraki of kind of his responsibility in all of this in a sense. Which I feel is kind of like a cop-out almost. I do like that at least this aspect of, you know, the dependence of Hero Society on one single figure is being like reversed, and everybody is chipping in to build the future for their world now. And, you know, the cycle of, you know, relying on one person to uphold an entire society is going to be crumbled, and everybody's going to take a more equitable investment into their society. As we see as all these heroes who are already beaten and broken coming in to put in their part. I think that's like kind of a consistent theme with My Hero Academia, and I'm glad that that's being remedied narratively. On top of just the coolness factor of every character getting involved and, you know, fighting All For One. I love the consistency of character of Deku still. You know, even if he doesn't have any power, most of his power is gone, he is still charging into the battle. That's what we love about Deku in particular, is that he is who he is, with or without power. I really like that last splash page. It's really cool. It's almost like All Might is with him spiritually through that shirt. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, this was a pretty good chapter of My Hero Academia. I love
face there. His face is definitely there, not his spirit.
Yeah. I do love this 2-page spread of everybody showing up Avengers Endgame style. It did get me kind of hype. The "We Are Here" is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
Mineta looked like a fucking
Not gonna lie.
animal.
Yeah, everybody's here. Everybody's doing the thing. I'm into
Hands
it.
Girl was there too.
Who?
Hands Girl.
Yeah, I forget her
Hendo.
name, but Big Hand Girl.
Her name is
Manga
Hendo,
guy
I
is
think.
here too.
The onomatopoeia guy.
Yeah, his name is Manga actually, which is funny. Gentle Criminal's here. You know,
Yep. Gang Orca.
Gang Orca's
Christian's
here.
favorite hero.
Frankly, yeah. Fun fact: Gang
Favorite
Orca is a holdover
last
from
year.
Horikoshi's previous series.
Yeah.
Yeah, as is that snake lady.
Oh, apparently the Barrage character showed
Yeah,
up in
Barrage
this.
made a cameo last week, actually, which was
Really?
kind of cool.
Yo, did y'all know Itadori made a cameo
Yes,
in like a
in like a cover of
Nightwing?
the Nightwing comic. That was pretty sick. Deadpool made a Chainsaw Man reference.
yeah, in
He,
the comic.
he did a
right.
con joke, like Aki.
Mhm.
Boom.
Con. But that's all I really have to say about My Hero Academia. I like this chapter. In the sense that, you know, it's just Horikoshi, I feel like paying off the threads that he set up, like on a technical level, narratively, it checks out for me and I like it. There's obviously, you know, some issues I have, but I'm willing to kind of just let bygones be bygones and enjoy what's left of My Hero Academia where I can. I thought this was good. But yep, those are my thoughts. Do we have any rebuttals, anything like that?
Nopers.
All right. With that being said, let's move onward.
Fi me pick ned i kjære me som jeg kan chat.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, this is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 258, Inhuman Makyo Shinjuku Showdown part 30.
Oh my god.
To be fair, this started with the Gojo versus Sukuna fight, so 30 chapters to take down the big bad of the series. Feels right.
This series is insane, man.
Okay, so we start off with a staple of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami breaking in to explain shit. All right, I'm going to try to summarize this as best I can, but he basically explains that Gojo constructed a unique reverse curse technique circuit while in an awakened state when he did his 2 black flashes. And he distributed the function and its burden to a part of his brain that usually doesn't take care of reverse curse technique. And in the same way, Sukuna did something similar here. At least that's what he intended to do. Yuji drove 7 black flashes into the boundary between Fushiguro and Sukuna's souls, causing Sukuna to miss his chance to recover reverse curse technique. However, Sukuna was able to regain his domain, which is a crazy form of Malevolent Shrine. It's an incomplete version of it. So, you know, he was able to do this by changing the signs and using a part of his brain that the domain usually doesn't handle. And, you know, he having survived the black flashes, he generates Malevolent Shrine without a decrease in effective area or output, but it's on a time limit at this point. We'll find out later. We get a little flashback of them talking about reverse curse technique in general. Choso asks why, when you do reverse curse technique to regenerate flesh, how do you compensate for lost blood? Hakari and Okotsu don't know how they do it consciously. This is something they do on instinct. But Ieri has a concrete solution because this is kind of her specialty. She converts cursed energy into blood. So a lot of sorcerers can use reverse curse technique on themselves to heal, but they can't heal others because generally the idea is that other people's bodies reject other people's cursed energy. So, you know, but Ieri is an exception. She's able to do it. But Choso, luckily, he and by extension Itadori can convert cursed energy into blood, so they should be able to do the reverse curse technique in that way. So they don't have to. Reverse curse technique is not so difficult for them naturally. So Choso mentions that that's why they want to include someone who can use reverse curse technique in replacement training. And Itadori is like, replacement training? And this is kind of an answer to a long time ago where it seems that Itadori was being trained within Kusakabe's body, and Kusakabe was in Itadori's body. And we assumed that like Itadori had this kind of body swapping technique, but really, this is Ui Ui's curse technique. Along with teleporting, basically, he can also teleport someone's soul into a different body. In so many words. He doesn't go into particularly how, but what he's basically saying is that I can basically transfer Itadori's soul into other people's bodies. And they explain to Itadori that Itadori is developing rapidly as a sorcerer because of Sukuna. Bless you, Brian.
Thank you.
Because Sukuna's soul was in Itadori's body for so long, Itadori's body has learned Sukuna's technique to some degree. But they're going to do the same thing with replacement training. So, Kusakabe is going to inhabit himself within Itadori's body in order to install within him Simple Domain, the new Shadow style Simple Domain, as well as, other cursed energy manipulation techniques. And apparently they have two shots to this. So Itadori did it with Kusakabe. We don't know if he did it with someone else as well. So it's possible that Itadori has also learned someone else's curse technique. But we don't know exactly.
Could have also practiced cleave with Yuta.
It's possible, but he already has Sukuna's technique within him, is what they were saying. So that wouldn't have been necessary. And Yuta can only...
just for him to know how to use it when it awakens, if it ever awakens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if Yuta can use it without the domain, though. But that's neither here nor there. It's possible that he put it within Yuta. He also they also probably like put him within Ieri so he could learn reverse curse technique as good as he does. But I don't know. In any case, the flashback ends and we see Itadori implementing the new Shadow style Simple Domain to protect himself from Malevolent Shrine. We see that Sukuna is using Gojo's hand technique, hand sign to activate the current Malevolent Shrine. We get a narration thing that's saying that this is an incomplete domain. Although the quality of isn't lower, although like Sukuna isn't lowering the difficulty of his barrier technique, he still has the same effectiveness and range as he did when he was in Shibuya. So basically, this Malevolent Shrine is basically the same as before. But he can only maintain it for 99 seconds. And we see that various characters in the battlefield are using some kind of barrier Simple Domain to kind of guard against it. And they make it 99 seconds, but Itadori in his last moment gets his leg cut off. But he was able to stop it. And I imagine he'll be able to, heal that leg. But the chapter ends in a 2-page spread where Sukuna is using the Divine Flame. And that's where the chapter ends. Yeah, rough. Josh, what did you think about Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 258?
I think it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whoever he's about to hit with that, it's a good game.
GG.
Kill the Cursed Spirit whose whole thing was fire. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Sukuna's a cheater. There's no. I mean, there's
This is
no.
his first time
there's
using
no
that
ifs,
ability
ands, or
since
buts about
Shibuya.
it. Forget the flame though. Like, So he creates an imperfect version of his domain, which is, I mean, peak nasty, right? I'm sure we can all agree to that. But any like, man, on the 2-page spread, the top down of the city getting shredded, it reminds me of uh one of the Bleach characters, Bankai's, I forget his name. Rukia's older brother.
Oh, Byakuya.
Yeah.
Byakuya.
Yeah, he just shredded everything. It looks like snow. But it's just a bunch of dust. And yeah, I think the explanation for how they survived and how they also gained the abilities to have curse techniques so fast was through the child's ability of them being able to swap souls, of other users' bodies so that they can get used to their techniques physically. Really crazy stuff. I'm sure you guys have thoughts about it too, so I'm not gonna linger. I guess I'm speechless. This motherfucker Sukuna is unstoppable.
He's the final boss, man.
He truly is. He's opening the divine flame, not the regular flame.
He got the
Not
divine
the
one
demon
out.
flame.
He said, "Let
the
me pull out the
divine
divine flame. I can't just kill these guys."
Someone
with
is
the
about
regular
to receive judgment. And I'm gonna pray that it's not one of my favorite characters.
flame.
I'll say one thing. I know that there was a moment when the kid was talking about souls. I thought about Gojo for a second, like, wait, are they trying to say that they could transfer souls to another body? Like, is that what happened? But I don't. I know if I thought that for a moment, the Gojo fans must have been going crazy. I don't know if any of y'all seen chatter about that, but those are
I
my
haven't.
thoughts.
I haven't
Epic
seen anything
chapter.
about Gojo yet. Aside from people huffing copium thinking that he's still alive.
So, what are your thoughts, Brian?
RGC!
Oh, my bad. I got it right now. 1 second, Brian. I got you right now. There you go.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
It was really cool to see Yuji learn Simple Domain. I don't know. It's just like every time I see Yuji doing some cool new shit, I'm just like, yeah, that's my fucking boy. And did you guys notice that Miwa was saving Maki in the
Yeah, that was
Shrine?
Miwa, huh?
Yeah, Miwa's like carrying her and keeping her alive and shit.
Yeah, because she could use the simple domain.
So that was pretty cool. If you paid a little bit of attention, pay close attention, you could see small things like that.
I did see that person. I just didn't know exactly who that was.
Miwa would be the only person who could help there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I don't know, it just feels like even though Sukuna is like really fucking strong, it feels still realistic that he's doing all this. You know what I mean? Like there's always an explanation as to why he's doing things. There's an explanation as to how the team can counter it. There's everybody's thinking logically, everybody's kind of contributing in their own unique ways. This is what you want from a series in an endgame. Like this is probably the best endgame I've seen in a series so far. For a manga in a while. I don't know how that holds up compared to other things that I've read. Like maybe it's just recency bias, but I feel like it just holds together really well. Like everybody, like it's not straying from what made it good originally. It's just continuing to build upon what it was before. You know what I mean? Like people aren't really being phased out. They're just the people that are there, and it's just really fucking sick, man. I don't know. Like Sukuna is just such a good fucking villain. Like you just can't help but be in awe of the shit that he does because he's literally the GOAT. Like he's been in situations like this before and he knows how to react. You know what I mean? Like he's faced bigger like circumstances. Like he's fought war like a one-man army before. So it's like, how do these modern Jujutsu sorcerers hold up against this guy when they don't have Gojo to bail them out? You know what I mean? And it's just really fucking sick. I don't know. Jujutsu Kaisen has been on a fucking roll with this whole fight. From Gojo's first fight to now. It's just been nonstop good fucking action and good storytelling. I love this series so fucking much. And it fills the hole that Hunter x Hunter leaves in my heart every day. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't
30 chapters straight.
Yeah.
Actually, 30 chapter straight streak of fucking peak.
Yeah, and that's more than because like whenever they cut to Kenjaku and Takaba fighting, it wasn't part of the fight in Shinjuku. So
Oh, I guess the Takaba stuff was a little weird,
now
but
it's
no, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't weird. I'm just saying it wasn't part of the 30 chapter fight against Sukuna. Like it was titled something different, so it has been 30 chapters of peak. Exactly, pretty much for and more so.
Gojo got cut in half, man.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything Brian said. I really love these chapters, and it is so weird. And, you know, I guess this is not anything about the chapter itself, but it is funny to see like people are not like loving this from what I see.
oh wait, I forgot to mention. This divine flame thing is different from the one he used in Shibuya.
You think so? Was it?
Yes, because I think I saw something saying that like Fuga was more like a flame, and this is more like a furnace.
Mm-hmm.
So like the kanji or whatever the symbol is on this. So
Yeah, I wish I remembered.
There's a chance that this is kind of working in tandem with his domain expansion. So maybe the flames, when he activates it, they have like a different effect. Because this, so the first one was Fuga, and this is Divine Flame. So it's different. It's like this is definitely like a stronger version of whatever he was using before.
Yeah. I'm trying to find what it was. I guess so. Last time he used it, he didn't really have a name. He just did
He
it.
said Fuga open.
I think, well, let me see what Fuga means. Fuga could be different. Fuga. Open. Oh, yeah, Fuga.
Well,
Yeah, I guess
while
so.
you're looking that up,
I guess it is different. Sorry. What were we
remember
gonna say,
when we was like, oh, what was Itadori and this dude training like about? As a matter of fact, I wish I knew exactly which chapter it was to jump to, but I remember us thinking like, wait, why does it sound like Itadori is talking down to this guy? And now I'm telling you, they were like switched bodies and then switched back.
Yeah.
So now we know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good to know.
To pay off.
It was Christian, I think, that brought up the fact that it was a little weird how they were talking to each other.
I knew it was weird, guys.
He's like, something fishy is going on.
And you know what? Something was fishy. I knew it. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't possibly guess that this was it. But I knew something was weird. Yeah, no, this was great. Honestly, as far as like final battles go, this might be kind of one of my favorite in all of manga, just because I feel like everything here makes sense. The buildup of Sukuna felt appropriate to how much of a problem he is to deal with and how many characters he's mowed down at this point. it feels like it makes sense, and I feel like it's been not an equal fight, but he is struggling a tiny bit. He is like kind of pulling out all the stops here. And this is taking a more toll on him than I even think he imagined, even though he probably still thinks that he can beat this. And he may technically not be at his peak because this is not his body. And there is like such an important point that Gege always tries to make between the importance of the body and the soul being in sync with each other. But yeah, no, this just kind of tracks. A lot of people have a problem with Sukuna. Like, there's this like weird anticlimactic element where Sukuna keeps like busting his way through all of sure death experiences that he may be experiencing when fighting other people. But hey, I mean, you know, when Sukuna only had like 15 fingers in him, he like pretty much easily dispatched Jogo. He was playing with Maharaga in Itadori's body. You know, and not even at full strength.
He didn't even use his actual curse technique against Gojo.
Yeah.
Until the end.
Yeah.
Like, he was mostly using like the 7 shadows or whatever it's called.
10 shadows. But yes.
The 10 shadows against
Well, in the beginning of the fight, it was once he summoned Maharaga.
He used Malevolent Shrine a bunch of times. But
yeah.
But, you know, I think it makes sense. Everything here tracks. There's like villains who are OP for no reason that have been in Jump. Like if you say Yubak or like Aizen, that are just like, they're steps ahead, but it's only because they've been built up to have plan on plan on plan. But, you know, we don't know the explicit nature of that plan. Whereas Sukuna is just raw strength and has always been built up to be not only just physically very powerful, but incredibly knowledgeable of jujutsu in general. Even more so than pretty much anybody else in the verse. He understands it on just like such a fundamental level. And he knows things that a lot of people don't. And it's been made believable by the way he talks about it. And he's talked about it before he took prominence as an antagonist in the series. It just makes sense. And I'm really enjoying it as well. This is what a boss battle should be in theory, a final, like your last fight in the series. It should be this difficult in theory and this believably difficult. So I'm all for it. I don't know. I'm having a great time reading Jujutsu Kaisen. As I've said week after week, it's one of the series that I've consistently had just such a great time reading all the time. Those are all my thoughts. Do we have anything else that we want to rebut? Anything else we want to say?
One more thing I want to say.
Yeah, Itadori's going to have a really hard time dodging that flame attack with 1 foot.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to die here, and it's not going to be Yuji.
Someone's dying.
I think it's going to be Choso.
Someone's going to die. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Choso. Or this is when Nobara comes back. Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah,
You think so?
Hits, yeah, because, you know, maybe she put like a curse on one of the fingers that you know, Sukuna probably, you know, ate, and then she just like bing, and just long distance Wi-Fi curse technique attacks him.
Stuns him for a moment so Yuji could punch his fucking face off.
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Sick.
Or Toto comes in, claps them all out.
Oh my god, where is Toto?
Somebody else has to show up. I refuse to let the series end before Toto or Nobara, or at least we find out what happened to Nobara specifically. Like they straight up say, "Oh, yeah, she's dead." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had that moment already when they was at the fire. He said, "And Nobara." They just
but they didn't say anything.
That was it.
Brian, I want to hold on for hope as much as you do, but I don't know.
I would have loved Megumi to be like, "She's fucking dead, bro." I would have loved that.
Listen, I'm not holding my breath, but
I give you some closure.
but I will be very happy if she comes back. But I am not
She was
holding
one
up.
of my favorites. I'm over it, man.
If fucking Miguel is allowed to show up, then Toto and Milbar are allowed to show up. Okay.
Well,
That's
Well-
what I don't. Where is Toto? He
Toto's
can
retired.
still-
He can't use his technique
Bro.
anymore.
No, they didn't say he was retired,
Well, he can't use his technique anymore.
so he can find another way. Give him like a robot arm.
He can't. He has to have his flesh
he
and blood
can
arm.
clap other people. That sounded crazy.
What if he did a binding vow where he gets to slap instead of clap?
You might be onto something there. Hold on. Let
The
him cook.
boogie woogie is a slap now.
Hold on. Let him cook.
How sick would that be?
It's just like because Toto's not dead and he has not showed up at all since Shibuya, if I remember correctly. He needs to make an appearance. He needs to slap. He needs to trade places with Sukuna. He'd be like, huh? I don't remember being over here. Boom! Head punch off his shoulder blades.
I don't remember being over here.
Mm. I don't know what's going on here.
What?
Oh. How did I get here? All right, that's it.
All right. With that being said, let's move onward then. Kagura Bachi. And with that, I'm gonna throw this shit over to Brian.
Let me load this shit up real quick. You know
Load
how
it up,
VizB,
Brian.
you know
Load
how
it up,
VizB
load it up,
guys,
load it up,
the
load it up.
Viz Jump app,
Load it
fucking
up.
slow as molasses.
Load it up.
America.
May I have a word about the color page?
Go for it.
Yes, you may.
This was the most awkwardly drawn color page ever. Like, is it supposed to look faded or something? Like,
Yeah, it looks a little weird.
There's
I'm not
something
gonna lie.
off. There's something off about
think,
this.
like-
The weirdest part to me are the faces. On the top 4 faces and this guy's face in the background. He looks like he's missing a few chromosomes.
I feel like I'm reading this like straight out of like a literal volume. You know what I mean? Like I opened up a book in 2000 in like the 2000s.
I'll tell you this.
Like a
I
book
think
volume.
this is like kind of, it is consistent with his style when he does color page title spreads, where it looks like he painted it on a canvas. And I think that's the effect he's trying to like capture here. But I think certain, like the guy that Josh mentioned in the back may not have just drawn him well enough in that moment. But yeah, I see what you
Fire
guys mean.
looks good.
Yeah.
This guy, he was fleshed out pretty good. The main sorcerer guy,
Mm-hmm. Well, he's
Right.
front and center.
and then the rest of them are kind of like.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, go for it, Brian.
All right, so the chapter starts with this guy, and he has a massive fucking neck. And the next page, we see him being like Chihiro Rukuhira. And you see Chihiro kind of getting flashbacks to the night his father died, and he rushes him. And he's like, he's remembering that they're the small group of sorcerers that attacked him, and he's kind of just his head is starting to rush with a bunch of questions like, grown up, he wasn't there, like, is he one of them? How many of them are there? And he's just like, you're from Hishaku, aren't you? What are you after? Hishaku is the group that killed his father. And he's just like, I'm surprised you can maintain your composure. I'm the leader of Hishaku. I'm responsible for the murder of your father. And it's crazy that he's just saying this shit to his face.
Yeah, I did it.
Right?
Yeah, I did it.
It's crazy that he's just saying this to his
He's like,
face
oh,
with a sword at his throat.
you handled it so well. Okay, well, how about this? It was me.
I'm gonna put it to the test real fast. You seem real calm right now. Let me fix that.
Fix that.
I only speak when I feel like it. Stop with this pointless nonsense
Hmm.
and just try to kill me. And then he just fucking straight up uppercuts Chihiro and then like teleports behind him and tries to kick him. But then Chihiro teleports behind him with Cloud Gouger. And then he miss? And then did he teleport behind him?
I don't know what he did. Wait, hold on. Okay, so he kicks. Chihiro teleports. He hits his foot on the wall.
Oh,
I guess he
Yeah, he
sidesteps it.
no, I think he's kicking him. He used like the momentum of kicking off the wall to kick Chihiro back, I guess.
Oh,
So after 2 teleports behind you, nothing personnel kids, he kicks it into the wall, and the leader's like, "Oh shit, that shit really is broken, huh? Damn, that sucks." And he kicks him into the fucking like the wall, the tree wall from before, and it starts to kind of grab Chihiro and kind of contain him. And he's like, "All right, now I can talk some more shit. Stay still. Our auction is about to go. Our item's about to go on auction, and I don't want you fucking around." And then we cut back to the auction house where Papa Sazanami is like, "Yo, guys, we have something really fucking cool.
yeah.
We have that fucking sword, guys."
You already
And
know.
Chihiro's like, "Why are you putting the sword up on auction?" And again, he's just like, there's a lot of thoughts running through his head where he's like, what's he after? What's he planning to do with the swords? Where are they? How many of them are there? How did he know about me? Why is he here? Why did this motherfucker have the Cloud Gouger? Why? And he's like, why did you kill my dad? And he's like, why? Well, here's your answer, as well as a declaration of war. I want the sword. So basically, he's trying to get the Shinichi for these guys, because the Shinichi is basically the single blade that turned the tide of the war that happened 18 years ago. So it's kind of the most legendary of the enchanted blades. And he was putting it up, and he put it up in the auction so that they could make sure that they acquired it without a hitch, since the auction always goes on like without any problems. So it's an easy way for them to acquire the blade. And then we cut back to not cut back to, but we see little snippets of Shiba's fight and Hiyuki. Is it
Haruki,
Hiyuki
I
or
think.
Hiruki?
Haruki. Oh wait, is it Haruki?
Haruki.
One of those.
One of those. We see him kind of gearing up to fight, and Chihiro's like, "You've been helping them? How does auctioning the Shinichi help him? Let him wield it? And even if he does eventually gain control, what does he want with it?" So now he's kind of thinking, "Ah, shit, you know what? I've been asking so many fucking questions. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm just gonna fuck his ass up. I can't let you get away with this." And he's like, he points to his fucking face. He's like, "You don't get it, do you?" He's like, "Enchanted blades don't choose people. Anyone can enslave them. All the more reason to stop you. Why haven't you killed me already? You're still too green to harvest. You're relying on Cloud Gouger, but it isn't much of a threat anymore. Try and fight all you want. Your situation is getting worse. So just let me fucking talk some more shit to you a little bit, buddy. Just let me, the villain, just talk to you for a while." And he's kind of like doing like the classic villain thing where he's like, "I just want to see how angry you've gotten all these years.
I just want to see how much of a hater I've installed within you.
How mad are you, Chihiro?
You mad, bro?
The auction has just started, so I can talk as much shit as I want. I won't bore you. I have a lot to tell you after all. For example, about what happened when your father died." And Chihiro's like, "Shut the fuck up. you're gonna pay. And he gets like a flashback to his dad, to all the people he's fought up till now, and what the swords mean to him and his father. And he feels so fucking disrespected that this dude is like, anyone can fucking use these swords. And he's kind of just like, you know, remembering all the good times they had with his dad with maintaining these blades and keeping them safe. And the chapter ends with him kind of, I guess, activating what's left of Cloud Gouger to fight this guy, to like kind of steal his conviction and prepare to fight him. And he says, May Shred. And it's him kind of powering up with all this electricity around him. And you see the trees on the fucking tree wall starting to fucking shred and kind of break a little bit. And that's where the chapter ends.
They're
Josh, what are
falling
your
to his
thoughts?
conqueror's hockey.
Yeah. Joshua Cole.
All right, so I wish we seen more plant magic, but he's just on another level. I've seen Chihiro struggle and be overwhelmed before, like in the Cloud Gouger fight, but this is next level. This guy is clearly better than him. He's just playing. He could have ended his life at any point and said, you know, you might be a thorn in my side, but he actually enjoys this prospect of it. Like Hisoka or something. You can't wait for him to get stronger. Weird. I like that he was able to get more juice out of Cloud Gouger. I will be really, really bothered if Cloud Gouger finishes for good and he can't use it anymore. I hope it's just that after he runs out of the charges, that it takes a really long time to recharge because it's broken and all of that. He better fix that shit. He needs to be able to use all the swords. And yeah, I have a fantasy for this series, and that's what it is. He has all the magical swords, and he goes buck fucking wild. Anyway, while this whole conversation was going down, I wonder what happened to that kid and his brother. You think he's dead already?
Which kid and his brother?
I think he's dead.
Hiyuki? Or Hiruki?
You know. Yeah.
I don't think he's dead.
Haruki,
They
yeah.
showed that they were gonna like fucking scrap. Looks like they haven't started yet.
This conversation was at least 3.5 minutes. Do you know what you can do to somebody in 3.5 minutes if you're way stronger than them?
Well, you're forgetting, Josh. This is manga time. So 5 minutes, 3 minutes is really like 6 hours.
Yeah, they're probably still talking about.
So it's even worse.
How much of a brother he is.
So what I'm saying is that time doesn't apply. So in this conversation, he could just be gearing up one attack.
Okay. Like with Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, where'd you go?
I was grabbing some water.
Oh, okay.
So, it's very hot in here.
Oh, yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, man, this, but the final, I'll say this, the final page was fucking sick. I mean, he's saying die as mine at my side. No! I'm hurt.
He's saying,
Right.
he's talking to the Cloud
dangerous-
Gouger. He's talking to the Cloud Gouger like, don't you remember who I am? You were always mine. I took care of you.
You're my baby boy.
Yeah, now it's to die as mine at my side. Meaning probably one last attack. No.
If
I don't like
anything,
the
those
setup.
swords are his brothers.
I have an agenda, and the agenda is failing right now. Cloud Gouger is important. He needs it.
Cloud Gouger is pretty cool. It has some style to it. May
That is just a
a
cope
Cloud
by
Gouger
people
move,
with
right?
agendas.
Keep catching me off guard with the agendas one.
This is just a cope.
I'm gonna go pretty hard. I'm gonna probably maul.
That is just a cope
if,
by people with agendas.
Yeah, I'm gonna maul if the sword dies finally.
Hmm.
Chapter 32 might be my last.
You gonna peace out?
Most likely. 79% chance.
Hmm.
That's a pretty high percent chance.
What if the
Is-
rest of Cloud Gouger becomes like a lightsaber? Will you stay on?
Then it would be a 200% chance I would keep reading the series.
Hmm.
Possibly even a 300%.
That's
Somewhere between 2 and 300% chance.
hmm.
That's a pretty high percent chance.
What that actually means is that would be so cool that it would be good for 2 to 3 more disappointments before it goes back into the negative territory of me not wanting to read this anymore.
I see.
That's how cool the prospect of that would be.
Yeah.
It would earn it a lot of leeway in my book.
All right. Well, are those all your thoughts?
Those are
Josh?
my thoughts. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I thought this was a cool chapter. Villain standard.
Oh, wait. Real quick.
Hmm?
Sorry. Rokuhiro never cared.
What do
Look
you
at
mean?
his face when he was young.
Yeah. He didn't care about anything.
Not once.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I was about to say is a general villain monologuing notwithstanding, I thought this was a pretty cool chapter overall. I do like that Chihiro eventually is very consistent in the character, that eventually, even though he becomes very emotional at times, he's very good at just like be like, you know what? Actually, it doesn't matter why he did what he did. Everything they're doing fucking sucks. So I have to stop them no matter what. He's very logical in that sense where he's like, you know what? Man, fuck the reason why he did this. This sucks. This guy sucks. And I'm going to shock him with my Cloud Gouger. So
And I was shocking with my Cloud Gouger.
I'm going to stop him from getting the Shinuchi. And I'm going to shock him with my Cloud Gouger. So, you know, it's pretty cool. I guess like the main antagonist just showing up is, I don't know why, this is kind of unrelated to how good the chapter was in general, but this felt like very much like, please Japanese audience, don't cancel me. This is the main villain.
Look at him. He was very creepy.
Yeah, it made me immediately curious to see where Kagurabachi is in the reader survey.
It is super popular in the North right now. Like I
East.
see it get brought up pretty often on like Twitter and shit.
Yeah, no, it's super popular here, but I feel like Kagurabachi has always been in the middle rankings, and it has been. It is currently 12th ranked. Wait, Kagurabachi, where was it? Yeah, Kagurabachi was 10th place this week. And it has hovered in that same area ever since like the fucking 8th chapter.
I would be so sad if this series didn't make it. 'cause
Last
it's
time
actually
it-
so good.
Yeah, last time it broke the top 10. Well, it's 10th place this week. It was 10th place for chapter 28. But it hasn't been in the single digits since chapter 23. So, yeah, the trajectory of Kagurabachi is very strange. It's very like up and down. It was hovering around 17th place for a time.
This series has so much fucking promise too.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's one of those things where I think, like, you know, the Kagurabachi is popular enough that it won't get canceled. But it really has helped that I think the the West is getting a lot of attention for Kagurabachi, and I think that's being taken into consideration with it. But yeah, it's interesting, I would say. It made me think is like, you usually don't see moves like this where like the main antagonist just pulls up if it's not like a grab for a rating in a sense.
Mhm.
Which isn't a bad thing at all. to be honest. Like in the general storytelling of it, I'm fine with this development. To be honest, it's just kind of interesting that like all of a sudden the main bad guy's here. I know we were super focused on this auction, but the main bad guy of the series is here.
Plus, I feel like it was only a matter of time before he starts showing up because that's who the main villains are, and we haven't seen them in a while, like since the first chapter, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works overall. I'm not. It's not a negative, I don't think at all. But it is just interesting that just out of nowhere he's here. Me knowing, like, just understanding how Jump works in a sense, I'm always. Sometimes I could see like the meta reasons for why certain things happen, and it makes me curious. I don't know for sure, and this is just like a theory of mine based on how weirdly middle of the road this series gets with its ranking in the reader surveys. But yeah, I did like this chapter a lot. That last page is sick. I do like Chihiro as a character. He's a very different character for a shonen protagonist, you know. So
yeah, his motivations are different. He's
just his temperament.
Mature for the start of a series.
Oh, okay. I thought Josh was trying to say something and he was just muffled for some reason. But yeah, those are really all my thoughts. I thought this was a really good chapter. I enjoyed it. Do we have? Oh, Brian, what did you think?
Oh, I feel like we kind of covered everything. This was probably the most emotion we've seen out of Chihiro in the series so far. Aside from him being kind of like bit edgelord and being a little emo and being composed, like this is the most he's kind of had to emote, which is good for a character like him. Good to remind us that he is actually a very emotionally driven character, who you know, genuinely believes that he is doing something right. And he is fighting for a purpose, and it's kind of get him against the world. So him kind of coming to terms or coming to face like his past, like a ghost that he can't really hit, is pretty huge for his character, you know, like because so far he's been somebody who could handle almost any situation that's thrown at him, no matter the circumstance or no matter how far behind he is. But this guy feels like he's on a different level, and it's a pretty cool wrench to throw in the plan that was otherwise going pretty well until this guy showed up, you know. So I'm really excited to see how the next chapter pans out. Please read Kagurabachi. It's so good. Please get it. Give it the standings it deserves.
Yeah,
this is the future of Jump right here.
Yeah, I'd like to add, I guess, to that I don't think Chihiro is like an emotionless person. I think he's very reserved. I think he's actually really emotional, but he's just very good at compartmentalizing it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I guess I was trying to clarify. Sorry, brain.
It's all good.
All right. Well, if that's all there is, shall we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Undead Unluck. And with this, I'm going to toss this one over to Josh.
Dead Unluck. Chapter number 205. Old plans, new ideas. Last week, some epic shit happened. Two people sacrificed themselves for two totally different reasons. One was willing to do it to get stronger. Another, over her life, a lesson in having faith in the unknown. So yeah, this week we also because of that, Nico gained his negator ability, Unforgettable, and with the help of Apocalypse using an information attack on him, he learns about everything in the world that existed ever. All the other loops and everything, right? He knows all the loops and shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what it is. So, language claims that now the fact that he withstood Apocalypse's information attack means he's even stronger than he was in the last when he was at what she believed the strongest. So she says, "I'm in love with you all over again, Nico," and he says, "Bitch, I'm taken." That's what I'm talking about. Nico is faithful. She's dead. His the one he's faithful to, she's the pack already. So Nico's about it. So they get back to their Shiratori showdown. Nico summons a nuclear rocket and something else, and a railgun, and he uses that to combat a god and Luna, the sun and the moon, spirits that was summoned in the previous chapters, and whatever, he's able to survive this round. But in the process of the nuclear explosion and railgun going off, the base, I don't know if the base explodes or if all right, so the base explodes, but before it explodes, pieces of the lab fly out like into their own little ships, and then we see Nico emerge out the hole with the sun and moon god losing their arms that had the spears that language summoned, and then to help keep them at bay, Nico uses his psychopods to do mathematics and cube the sun and the moon. Yeah, this is a wild series, guys. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what happened, and I'm still struggling to keep up what the fuck is going on as I read this. just being transparent with y'all. So basically, she language realizes that because Nico was able to damage Luna specifically, that means he has at least somewhat of a grasp on souls and how to use them offensively. Nico says, I'm gonna go first on this next round, but before that, there's something I need to ask you. It pertains to the game, so I can't have you refusing to answer. And he basically uses one of the turns because they get two words per turn. So he uses one of the words to say Juzenkai, which are the negative form of the 10 evils from Buddhism turned into precepts. I wish I looked up what the word precepts means. Could one of y'all please?
Yeah,
I'll
Brian,
just
could you look
continue.
up
You can let
precepts?
me know.
Because I have no idea as well.
How do you spell that?
PRECEPTS. So
A general
out of
rule
the-
intended to regulate behavior or thought.
like the 10 Commandments or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
In Buddhism. Interesting. So he chooses Fumogo, which will forbid her from lying. And then the question he asks is about the state of souls, which is, are our souls from the previous loop the same as us in the present or not? And will the souls I'm about to resurrect be the exact same entities?
Yeah, you said
As this
titties.
is happening, I said entities.
Yeah, you said
Titties.
titties.
Oh, yeah, you're right. LOL. Okay. While this is happening, one of the master rules is watching this fight. I think this is Soul. Is that who they said? So this is the master rule of Soul. And he's like, damn, it seems we should have been wary of Unforgettable instead of trying to take out Top and Unbreakable. But they focused a lot of I guess their effort on that battle as opposed to this one. with Beast. But anyway, language starts to answer Nico, which is that exterminated souls are sent to subspace, a place that isn't of this world. It's actually a part of the emissary in Smash Bros. Brawl. Typically, they can't exit that space until they are slated to be reborn in the next loop. And if they were managed to be resurrected, they would basically be able to come back as what they were during the same, while this recent loop. And he's like, all right, thanks, language. So that was all facts. She couldn't lie about that. And she's like, man, you're stupid. You wasted you wasted like a turn on just that question. And he's like, man, watch this. But before he uses the second word, he says to Fuko, like, yo, you've been thinking about this the whole time, right? Like, even if they're different people now, you've been telling yourself that and working hard for our sakes these past 200 years, haven't you? Which kind of makes Fuko break down because, he's right. Fuko really was moving off of a whim, knowing that, like, even though there's a high chance that the negators are going to be the same people, there's no real guarantee those people are going to be the same. We've seen that, like, in the case of Injustice, Juice fully resurrected because she had passed away in the last loop. I think that's what happened. That's why it happened. Well, whatever. I think the point is that it really was like Fuko could have been doing this for complete strangers, but she had such faith and belief in them and wanted to see them happy anyway. And then even in specifically with Nico, talking about the fact that, like, yo, like, right at the end of the last loop, like, we had a fight. I was in your way trying to stop you from your goals, and you still came to me and focused on me being happy before me even being a negator, which would truly help the union and help them win at least a little bit more. And he respects that, and he wants to repay that kindness. So he claims that he's going to achieve the most happiness he has in any loop so far, and then with his second word, he uses the Uzbek language, Rayahim as Rayham, right? Riamasia. Shit. So say reincarnation. Bro, this is fucking me up. Incomplete the language is like, damn, he revived the dead. Holy shit. I ain't gonna hold you. She was like, oh, that's a feat only possible with Unforgettable's imagination. Okay. So in response, language summons these really crazy swords for Sun and Moon to use. And then Nico's like, yo, Fang, please, can you beat them for us? Because I use my turns to just bring y'all back and ask questions. So, like, can you hold it down? And he's like, yeah, I got this. He, like, uses a Conqueror's Haki, a Rio, essentially. Fang uses a Haki to destroy the Moon Spirit and also slightly damage language and the Sun Spirit. Pretty crazy shit. And language is like, how? Like, how the fuck did he put up this much of a fight? Like, come on. She says, how can lives that won't last even 100 years overcome my words? The irony in that is that Fang is unfade and has been along for far longer than 100 years. But I feel her. It's okay.
We know what you mean.
I know what you mean. So, she's having a fucking tantrum. And, well, she says, how are you so sure in imagination? That should be out of your depth. Fair question, but Ichigo showed him the path of love. And because of that, he claims that he's going to marry her. I'll have one child exactly. And it's going to be a daughter named Miko. And Ichigo's like, what? A girl? He's like, yeah, a smart girl like that. And we won't be the only happy ones. Everyone who's joined us will survive. and be the happiest they've been out of every loop. And then it's funny because you see Fang extremely happy in his newfound strength and his most recent kill. He killed an embodiment of an entire god. Good gangster shit, Fang. And Nico continues to say, it's not just my images alone. Each and every image from everyone else's minds is helping to establish my own mental images, which is important. But I guess I'll get into that with my thoughts. I'll just try to wrap this chapter up. He says, it's helping. All right. So he won't be losing even up against God. Language is tight. But she's like, you know what? I got an idea. I definitely had to kill this guy right here and now. So she devolves into her stage 2 form and turns back into a child. So yeah, bad news for the weirdos. But yeah. She's like, all right, it was a good game, Nico, but I will decide my last word of my own accord. And she says, supernova explosion. Choshinsei Bakuhatsu. That one pretty good. This is the strongest image that you science folks have created. LOL. With this, we'll return to ashes together, Nico Vorgil. Damn, she's not off. I mean, I'm no scientist or nothing like that, but Big Bang, supernova, I don't think it gets deadlier than that.
Yeah, I remember that was like a
smart
big
guy
deal.
and he knows everything.
It was in the original Fantastic Four movie where they were like, Johnny, go supernova.
Yeah. Well, he had went close to. He went supernova to melt the thing. Right?
To fight Doom.
Is that what it was? Yeah, but he didn't melt the planet. That's crazy.
No.
If he goes supernova, he technically destroy Earth.
Yeah.
In moments.
Go supernova, but be careful about it.
You think Johnny Storm could have won in the Shiratori fight?
No, he doesn't know enough words, probably.
Probably not. Yeah, you're right. Nico was struggling, and he was a pretty smart guy.
He's pretty smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the end of the chapter. Brian, what were your thoughts?
Why don't I keep asking?
So awesome. It was so awesome when they were like, and this is my undead unlock.
That was a good line.
That's not what was said.
They went crazy. Like I was literally doing backflips when I heard that line. I was like, holy fuck. This really is their undead unlock.
Supernovas excite you?
No, not as much as that line, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint. Yeah, I only like that line. Yeah, that was a pretty good line.
Were those all your thoughts on the chapter?
Yeah, those are all my thoughts.
Well, I like this chapter quite a bit. I've already mentioned that the Shiku, whatever the word game they're playing here is my favorite, but I do like what they're doing here in establishing that although Fuko has made this kind of this risky thing with the loop, basically she's been dealing with the same people, even though they may seem different. It's the same soul, basically. So she didn't really sacrifice anyone. When she initiated the loop, these people are who they were. They're the same soul, and the same core of their being is the same as they were in the previous loop. So, it was good to relieve Fuko of that burden, because that's a good thing to think about as well. It's just when you make a loop, are you technically sacrificing people when you do so? Did Fuko technically sacrifice people to do so? So it's been good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good thing to inform Fuko's character in general.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was able to bring Fang back and Ichiko. Pretty into Fang doing what he needs to, being a fucking
quickly.
fiend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying this battle here. Josh, what were your thoughts?
So I want to just skip straight to what I was alluding to earlier, back on page what was that, 16, when he says that it's not just my images alone. Each and every image from everyone else's mind is helping to establish my own mental images. That was important because if you remember, Chris, part of the tragedy of what happened to him in the previous loop is that, was the massive irony that even though he became unforgettable, he forgot all about Ichiko, or at least like all the memories they had. I think he vaguely knew she was a thing, but because he got unforgettable after the fact, all of the new information he started absorbing or something like that made it say he couldn't reach those memories.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember. It was vaguely, that was like vaguely the point, and he's kind of like in control of that now. Like he's, I guess he's not allowing himself to forget about like certain things.
Or he's using the memory more
like
positively.
Huh?
He's using the memory more positively.
Yeah, right. And because of his more positive outlook in general, which is, I guess a little less heavy on the logic side. He was able to hold on to those connections via memories even after the incoming attack. So he, like I said, he built himself up to it.
Mm-hmm.
To be in a good place, to be in a better place to receive the ability, to be able to focus and allow the everyone else's memories to help him focus too. So, pretty poetic round circle moment. Nico's one of the better characters in the series, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And all because of like his character and story, which is impressive since I'm really big on powers and stuff.
Yeah.
I think when Nico Resident Evil style sliced up Sun and Moon, that was really, really nice. It's one of my favorite panels of the week, personally. If you're looking for it, it's page 5.
Yeah. The 5x5, the multiplication table.
Yeah.
Killed by the power of times tables.
Yeah. Pretty wicked stuff. All right, those are all my thoughts. I already wrapped this up.
Nice. Well, that's all my thoughts too. So let's wrap this bad boy. That was Undead Unluck, and that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening as per usual. Next week, there won't be any Jump series. So what we'll do is we'll probably take that opportunity to cover the monthlies that we haven't talked about. World Trigger should be coming out sometime in the next week. And we have 2 chapters of Black Clover to talk about that came out today, and the day that we're recording this, which is Monday. So next week we got some stuff to talk about. Maybe we'll like touch on Boruto as well. But yeah, till then, thank you guys so much for listening. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDCole_37 and at New Jump City Josh on Twitter and Instagram. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch him when he's streaming at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Email the podcast at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we will address it on the pre-show chat show that we do every week, or as many times as we can, time withstanding. We usually put those up like a couple days after the main pod goes up, so tune into that. I hope you guys enjoy that, because honestly, it's a fun time for us. I think that's it. Oh, subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube as well. I'm working on getting the backlog of episodes that we have so far on there. I've worked it so there's like an episode coming out every day. It'll be old episodes, but we're just catching up until we catch up, and then I'll be going back to the twice a week with the pre-show and the main show. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys next week. Stay safe, Video citizens.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all. Let's go next.
Let's go next.
Let's go next.